talk about this. But right off the bat, we're in November, right? When has this scat been here for months and months and months?
No, sir.
No. Okay. How old would a black bear be to make a scat that size?
Tiny.
This would be this spring's cub that came out. First of all, you know, depending on when blackberry or when juniper berries were coming in, this is not a bear scat. Okay. Now bear scats could look like this when you get your little tiny cubs eating juniper berries, but we're just far outside that season.
Are these junipers or are these?
I thought they were manzanitas.
Yeah, they're
Oh, are those manzanitas?
Maybe both, eh?
I can't tell.
Yeah.
Pick it apart later. There's going to be plenty more of this. That's a great, just whatever berries these are.
Whatever they are.
So, then the question, now, coons. Where do coons really prefer to leave scats? What's
Trees, up on trees.
Rocks.
Yeah, coon scats are well placed. Is this whole general area a spot that we would see, like you can do over and over and over again, wherever you are in the country where there's coons, and say, let's go check there for coon scats? Does this spot have it?
No.
So this generally speak. First off, and what do you think just about size for this and coons? If a coon was just gorging on berries,
Small.
it's kind of small. It's on the small end. But really, you know, this is one of those things. Could a coon just have walked along and been like, oh, and just had some berries fall out of its ass? Sure. But generally speaking here, what we're looking at stacking is characteristics. Nothing about this is very characteristic for our coons, okay? Just the size of it, the shape of it. We have, you know, it's even from what it's eating, it's not really in super log form. You know, you got this tapered little end. It's this little tiny pile, and it's in a spot very uncharacteristic for coons, okay? This is what we can say from all of the evidence. This is very unlikely to be coon scat, okay? Now, who does that leave us with?
Gray fox.
Okay, cool. So, what do you guys think?
Great fox.
And how come? Gray fox.
Size.
Just
Yeah,
small
size.
for coyote.
Could a coyote make this a size?
Yes.
Scat size?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
the quantity is small. Too.
Sure. But what size does this fall out of, and what size does this match up perfectly for?
On the
Gray fox.
edge, very edge of a
It
coyote.
is pretty wide.
This
for a
is,
gray
you know,
That
this is
one
top.
chunk, yeah.
That one chunk right here is kind of tricky.
So
So
it was pretty wide.
it is pretty wide. But I mean, is that well within the realm for a male gray fox? Absolutely.
Oh yeah, it's like perfect.
It's perfect. This is one of those tricky things. Perhaps this is a coyote scat, and this is one of those things too where it's like, well, what if you missed your eval, say, because you called a coyote scat, and we all thought it was a gray fox, and it actually turned out that in the world it was a coyote scat. That could happen. With all those things said, what we are doing as wildlife trackers, and the only ability that we have here is to say, this is the entire range here for what makes sense in every way for gray foxes. This is what we know makes sense in every way for coyotes, and this matches up much more on the gray fox end.
Gray foxes also like to elevate their scat.
They will do everything. They are fastidious markers, so you will have them do it on little tiny rock points, you know, where they pop up, but you will just have them all the time in spots like this.
Yeah, I find them on like little plants that stick up, and I've found
Plants.
scats dangling from a little branch on a plant and stuff. That somehow they just like get in place.
Okay. So,
The other thing I'll add is that there's been some studies before that have looked at scat diameters of gray fox and red fox versus coyote, and found a huge amount of overlap in the tail ends of the distribution. So they tend to have, you know, if you look at the distribution of scats, it tends to be a major area where most of them land, but there's a lot of overlap in those tails of the distributions, and so, so could like just a second what Casey was saying, is there that off chance that it is from a larger animal? Sure, but would that have been a safe guess to make in this situation? Definitely not.
cool. Yeah. So, you know, you look at this. This is a perfect size gray fox spot. And we will look at something else up there too. We'll look at another one of these and where it's placed, and just do a comparison, and we can follow up on that. But I am very comfortable saying, could that be a coyote? Sure, but it's very unlikely. It's perfect for a gray fox. So, Moving on.
Right here.
Oh yeah, who's that? Everybody.